Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Change Talk. My name is Tiffany Jenkins. I am the founder and the clinician at Awakening Change Counseling Services. I'm very, very, very happy to have you here with me. This is going to be Change Talk Live. Change Talk is going to be just a weekly segment. Well, where I'll be giving, sorry, I'm getting tongue tied already, some commentary and answering some of your questions about issues related to behavioral health, self care, and leadership. So tonight I do have a topic in mind. We're going to be talking about how to reduce the stress and um, anxiety for some folks of this new school year that we're approaching. Some folks might already actually be in it. So if you would share this stream with some folks who you think might be able to benefit from it. If you're watching either from Facebook or on YouTube, I encourage you to leave some comments as we're going through our conversation. They will pop up for me on the screen, and I'll try my best to get to them and answer them as best as possible. Let me start with just giving you a little background about what Awakening Change is and what it is that I do. So, like I said, my name's Tiffany Jenkins. We don't have any music on anymore, so I guess we can get rid of that, right? My name's Tiffany Jenkins. I am a licensed professional counselor, licensed substance abuse counselor, and certified clinical supervisor. And in my practice, I work with individuals, some families, but mostly individuals who are dealing with a number of issues that range from just being overwhelmed and stressed out to diagnosed significant issues with anxiety, depression, and substance abuse. I have been in the field of behavioral health for 21 years this year, but this is the second year of the practice at Awakening Change. So you can find out more about me and about the practice by going to www.awakeningchange.org. There's some information there, and you can find out more about me and what I do there. But let's get into our discussion for tonight. So I'm going to present, I want us to discuss 5 ways that we can, as parents and for our students, reduce the anxiety of this upcoming school year. It goes without saying that this is a school year like none other. Last year, the school year was interrupted by COVID and COVID-related challenges. But now we're kind of in the thick of it. And whereas some of us thought that this would go away and that we'd be over this by now, we're kind of not. And so I think it's important that we talk about ways that we can support both our students and the parents as we're dealing with this new normal, because that's exactly kind of what it is. One of the most I think important things that'll help us to get through this is to establish a routine. One of the things that I think threw all of us off the most is that as we spent more time working from home, that line between work and home life started getting increasingly blurred. It's not going to be in our best interest as parents or in our children's best interest if we keep blurring those lines. They're all, regardless of what age they are, going to benefit from a little bit more structure. They're going to benefit from having, a set bedtime as if they were going, to school in the morning, because in many cases they still are. They're just not going out of the home. Having breakfast in the morning, having lunch at a certain time, still having their nighttime rituals and routines. That's going to be one of the best things that we can do, not only for our kids to help them kind of get on track, but also for parents, because most parents, especially if you have younger children, that time after they go to bed is kind of your own time to decompress, to attend to your own needs, and to practice your own self-care. And that's important, especially in this new situation that we're in, it's very, very important that parents get their self-care. And we're going to kind of talk about that in a little bit too. That's another one of the tips that we have. But it's very, very important that we establish a routine. Now, the routine that you had before may not work now. It may not be a COVID friendly routine. So you might have to look at, okay, what are our new normals? How are we going to do this? How are we going to make this work? And what works for one person may not work for you. One size does not fit all when we're talking about routines. So find the routine that works best for your family, for yourself, and for the age of the children that you have. Some of us have children who are going to be going back on hybrid schedules that include kind of a down day. Some of us have children who are back full-fledged in the classroom. And then some of us have kids who are going completely remote. So one size will not fit all as far as, establishing a routine. But whatever it is, get something in place so that both you and your children have some sense of normal in this kind of abnormal time, if that makes sense. The other thing I want you to think about is your sleep hygiene. A lot of people have been complaining about their sleep being thrown off now that we've been in this whole situation of kind of, you can be home, you're not getting up, there's no rush to commute, you're not accounting for all of that. And some of us have fallen prey, myself included, from time to time, of just kind of staying up later than what you normally would, not really, winding down before you get into bed, not really kind of dumping out the thoughts and all of the to-do from the day before you lay down. And that's going to be very important. Again, that's part of that, the establishing the routine that I was just talking about. But beyond that, good sleep hygiene makes a huge difference in every area of your life. If you get enough sleep, then you're going to have a full tank for the next day, which means you're not going to be as groggy. Even when you're frustrated by situations, they're not going to be as upsetting for you. They're not going to be as overwhelming for you. Why? Because you allowed your body to get enough sleep the night before and fill up your tank. One of the ways that I like describing sleep to some of my clients is, imagine that your brain is a whiteboard or a chalkboard, whatever one you're more familiar with. When you go to sleep, it is your brain's job to completely erase and clean off that board. That is what kind of happens in our bodies as we're asleep. When you don't get enough sleep, that board is not completely erased. It's kind of half scrubbed off. You can still read through. And when you wake up the next day, as you go throughout your day, your brain is literally trying to write in any clean space that it can find. The longer that you go without getting good sleep, the less space there is for your brain to write into. And that's where our anxiety gets kicked up. We get really short-tempered. We can't really focus or concentrate. And so from the parent side, that means you're not going to have the patience that you need to have with juggling this new responsibility of checking on the kids and attending to your own work. If you're working from home, you're not really going to be able to navigate some difficult conversations as well. Can you do it? Yes. But are you going to be doing it as well as you could? Probably not. So that's why it's good to practice good sleep hygiene. And good sleep hygiene is simply just developing a routine that helps you transition from whatever you've had going on in your day into really preparing your heart and your head to go to sleep, as well as your body. But, your thoughts, calming down your thoughts, getting yourself calmed down. For some folks, that means that the last thing they do before they get into bed is take a hot shower. And there are some folks who have special calming body wash that they like to use. Peppermint is good. Chamomile is good. Lavender is good for calming us down. Having baths with those essential oils in them are also good things that you can do to really kind of just bring yourself down and calm yourself down and make that transition more effective from your waking hours to your sleeping hours. For the kids, this is really important too, because you're asking them to now focus a lot more most of our school districts that are doing remote learning are doing remote learning with a lot more structure than there was over the spring. And so our children are going to have to sit still for longer periods of time. And there's, let's face it, the temptation that their favorite video game is right in the same room or in the next room, or their favorite toy if they're younger. So you want to do what you can to help them wind down at night so that their tank is full. That's the best way to put it, that their tank is full and they're ready for whatever the next day of studies brings for them. Okay. Kind of on that same light, when we're talking about practicing sleep hygiene, one of the things that is very important, there have been a lot of studies in the past 6 months about the effect of the blue light from our electronics and how that interrupts our sleep pattern. So as you're developing your sleep routine, you want to make sure that you are eliminating blue light, which is the electronic devices, the TV, the video games, all of that. You want to eliminate that as early in the evening as possible so that it gives your brain the opportunity to start calming down. The reason why that blue light is so important is because the blue light simulates the light that we get from the sun, except it's artificial. So it doesn't work the same way, but your brain doesn't decipher it. Your brain just thinks it's like high noon all the time, and it's stimulating your brain in that way constantly. So you got to make sure that you're kind of tapering it down. If you have Apple products specifically, I know do this, but there are other settings that may be called different things on different devices. But on Apple, there's a warmth setting. And there's also a setting where you can have the blue light in your phone to decrease as it gets darker so that it naturally starts tapering you down. Doing things like that help your brain to make the adjustment. So you want to make sure that your TV, you're not doing too much TV watching right before you go to bed, because again, that's going to be a lot of blue light that's stimulating your brain. You want to try and turn that blue light setting, if you have it on your phone, on, so that even if you're one of the late night texters or late night scrollers, that you can at least reduce as much as possible how much blue light you're getting. Another option is that there are actually blue light blocking glasses, or you can ask for that. I guess it's like a tent, or it's not really a tent because your glasses are still clear. But if you wear prescription glasses like I do, when you go and get your prescription filled, you can ask them to add the blue light filter to your lenses so that you'll naturally have it for as long as you have to sit in front of the computer. The other way to reduce your exposure to blue light is to take frequent eye breaks. So if you're looking at a screen all day, just every couple of minutes, maybe every 20 or 30 minutes, looking completely away from your screen, staring out a window, looking at a plant, looking at, this is a good opportunity if you have a vision board or if your kid has a vision board, to give them something to center on for a couple of minutes, just to get their eyes out of the screen for so long and stop that, that consistent input of this blue light. The other thing is, be honest with how you're feeling. This is really an important one. And allow your children to be honest about how they're feeling. Our kids are probably as stressed out about all of these changes, about the loss of their social network, because that's really what it is, as we are. So allow your children and yourself space to be honest about what you're feeling. When it's not a great day, don't try to sweep it under the rug and act like everything is fine. Say it's not a good day, and then actively problem solve with your children how you can help them feel better. Maybe it's a special snack at their break time. Maybe it's they get to go outside and run around in between classes really quickly. Maybe it's, their favorite coloring book they get to have with them. Whatever it is, find your child's currency, but let them be honest and express to you exactly what their feelings are, because this is a pandemic that none of us has ever lived through, and none of us really have all of the answers. But if we're honest about how we're feeling, you'll find that there's a lot of commonality. There are a lot of people feeling exactly the same way that you feel. So being honest about those feelings helps to normalize them for other folks, including our kids. Because like I said, our kids are going through it too. And then finally, give yourself grace. Be patient with yourself. Again, none of us has ever lived through this situation, this type of pandemic before. None of us were around for, what was it, the Spanish flu of 1918. Very few of us can say that we were around then and can use that as our blueprint. We have history to tell us what happened then, but we've never really lived that experience before. And so you have to be gentle with yourself and understand you're not going to have all the answers. Even if you think you kind of had this remote learning thing kind of down pat in the spring, be prepared to be thrown a monkey wrench or two. Understand that you don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be available to support yourself and your children. And another way that you can give yourself grace, and this kind of goes back to our first point about establishing a routine, make sure that you have dedicated self-care time, whatever that looks like. Self-care might be writing in your journal at night before you go to bed. Self-care might be, talking to your friends on the phone or via a Zoom chat just to get some sisterly or brotherly support. It might be taking a walk in the park. It can be any number of things, but make sure you're doing things that consistently fill your tank so that you have what you need to meet the challenges that might come your way, right? So those are just the 5 quick tips that I have for helping us as parents and supporting our children with reducing some of the stress around this back to school season. Establish a routine. Practice good sleep hygiene, reduce your exposure to the blue light as much as possible, be honest about your feelings, but most importantly, give yourself grace. Let's check out the comments and see if there were any questions or comments in the sidebar. Dorian, thank you so much for sharing. Yanni, I love you too, my darling. Sibungali, I hope I said that right. Thanks for joining. Keisha, thanks for sharing. Thank you, Dorian. Dorian, I think you're signed up for our Between the Couch and the Cross class, aren't you? All right. I think I've gotten everybody's comments. So again, if you have any questions or comments or things that you'd like to discuss, okay, Dorian, I'm looking forward to seeing you. We'll be engaging there. If you have any questions, so William, aka Tuggers, said that Samsung has a blue light filter. So that's really good to know. So if you have a Samsung phone, that blue light filter is there for you as well. That's really good to know. If you have any questions, anything else that you think you'd like to see as a topic of discussion, let me know. Go to the website, drop us a message in our Contact Us, or you can find us on the Facebook page. It looks like that's where most of you are joining us from today, but we're on Facebook as Awakening Change LLC. We're also on Instagram as Awakening Change and on Twitter as Awake Counseling. So you can follow us on all of our social media, or feel free to just visit the website and send us a contact page. This will be a weekly experiment, we'll call it. We'll be talking. The goal is to just do a very brief 20 to 30 minute commentary, like I said, about some behavioral health, leadership, or self-care topic. And if there's something specific that you want to see, please reach out, let me know, and we will definitely explore those topics. It looks like I've answered everyone's comments. Weekly, yes, weekly. Every week, Thursday at 9 p.m., I will be right back here sharing some topics and some insight. And I really do welcome the Q&A. Just anything that you think you might be interested in. I don't think that there's any topic that's off limits, but I'll have to see how interesting the requests for topics get. But thank you guys so much for taking time out of your schedules to join me. Again, the website is www.awakeningchange.org. If you happen to catch this on the replay, please feel free to let us know that it's a replay and send any of your questions, comments, or concerns to the website or right to our Facebook page. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the first official Change Talk broadcast. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Stay safe and be well. God bless.